Hello, everyone. We all know, and I've always said this, we all know the person that we voted for to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we all know the person that won the election, the 2023 election, with all the abracadabra that they did and whatever. We know all of that. So here is Mr. Peter Obi, right, talking about an issue to do with custom and the rates they're doing. And hours after, I was it hours like a day or something after, he did this series of tweets on the 21st of February 2024. And then on what's the date now? I'm trying to check the letter from the circular from CBN to see what date they now effected that. That'll be on the 23rd. They now effected, the things that he had given. When people are asking for solutions or whatever, one of the things I've constantly said about Mr. Peter Obi is that he will give the problem and he give the solution. Even in the streets and whatever you see in the streets, we give ways to do it. But of course, the thing is that it's one thing to be able to copy and it's one thing to be able to use it effectively, because at the end of the day, it's all in the mind. It's all what is in the mind that always reveals itself. For those who don't want to do good for the people, they end up not actually doing that good for the people. So this is a series of tweets that Mr. Peter Obi did. He said, I wish to urgently call on the federal government of Nigeria to end the inconsistency in duty charges as it is affecting the general business atmosphere in the country. The federal government should stop the arbitrary and ever-increasing custom duties as it is now negatively impacting businesses and the cost of items. People don't understand it. We do a lot of importation in this country and people are importing goods in, they are coming in, and then you see a whole lot of this custom duty. It affects business. And there are a lot of people that they say they have abandoned their cars at the port, and I totally understand that. About over a decade ago, maybe was it like 12 or 13 years ago? No, more than. Oh my goodness, time actually flies. It's over 15 years ago that I was doing importation. I had a tomato paste my own tomato paste that I was making and importing it into the country. And we got to a place like, was it 2011 or so? 2011, 2012, businesses were crazy in Nigeria. All sorts of waivers, those import waivers that they give these big companies. They never understand how much it affects the smaller companies. These companies end up reducing prices. You can compete. There's a whole lot of corruption. People are buying fast-moving goods and selling them at whatever rate because, of course, this is money that they're just trying to clean. Money laundry and all sorts of things. So craziness were ongoing. And I was doing importation, and to today, the regret I have is that I should have abandoned those containers. I think I had like, how many was it, like 12 or so, 13 containers? I should have just left them at the port. Those ones that really gave me problem. I should have just left them at the port and just pay my manufacturer and cut my losses. So I totally understand here where people are actually leaving their containers at the port, cars and everything, because by the time you go and now bring this additional money, pay all of these duties, and you come and you can't even, you're going to sell them at a loss. So why don't you cut your loss earlier on? Most of the things that we use in this country are being imported, and so by the time this costs, a lot of people are going to go out of business. They're not going to import, and we will have more problem, and prices of things are going to go up much higher. He said it is now negatively impacting businesses and the cost of items, and this portends a huge danger to the economy, a situation where at the point of initiating importation, Form M and other documents related to importation are based on the particular rate of exchange. So you do all of that, and then you now come, they will now tell you that the exchange has changed. Meanwhile, your calculation, everything was based on what the rate was at the time that you were initiating the whole process. He said, for example, 1,000 to $1 being the prevailing exchange rate at the time the importer of goods was used to calculate the entire process from the import initiation to receipt of goods in its warehouse. Then suddenly, when the goods arrive in Nigeria and duties are calculated at different rates, say 1,400 to $1, it becomes a serious business challenge that results in business losses. Worse still, it directly fuels the inflationary spike, which is the basis of increasing cost of goods and living. Such arbitrary charges will obviously lead to further closure of businesses and attendant job losses. This is because at the time of the initiation of the business, calculations including duties have been made based on the prevailing exchange rate and the prevailing market prices. If this situation is not corrected, our importers may resort to using ports of nearby countries, a situation that will leave our ports underproductive and further deepen our economy into a worse situation as a result of loss of revenue. The government should also show consistency in its policies, as this will help with economic forecasting and business planning. See, the greatest thing that kills economy and whatever is inconsistency. It's not even bad economy. You can deal with bad economy. You already know this is how it is and you plan your thing. But where things are going haywire, come here, from there, go there. That's the worst thing that can happen to businesses, and that's where we are currently in Nigeria. You wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to see. Just like I woke up on Wednesday, I called my warehouse. We're talking about prices of some goods. Some people were asking something. I said, okay, let me call the warehouse and find out. I find out that big Indomie is 12,000, like 12,000 there. They added 1,000 the day before. By Thursday, they added 5,000. It became 17,000. Later that day, they added another 950. It became 17,950. How can somebody deal with that? How do you work with that within the space of this? And it's not the fault of the company. They have to do that, otherwise it's either they close down business. And for the last 2 weeks, we couldn't place order because there's the app they have where you go in, you place your order, how many trailers you want, you do your payment, you put all of that together. You couldn't place order because of course you can't blame them if they collect somebody's order now, somebody money. For example, if I give them order, say do 20 trailers for me, and they collect my money, they have to give me 20 trailers, so they can't come and tell me that they've increased price. So that's it. So it's better to just not sell. And then the condition was that they were thinking the only option that was left to them was that either one, shut down the factories, or have to increase the prices to meet the current reality of the way things are. And when we say that Nigeria does not have president, some people will be forming this thing. Make una dey form noodle indomie that is at least poor man, you open your indomie, put everything now. Indomie has turned to a luxury. So let me go back to where was I now? Okay, the government should also show consistency in its policies, as this will help with economic forecasting and business planning. Businesses are dying, said Mr. Peter Obi, and manufacturers are shutting down because of the poor and inconsistent economic policies of the government. And even with this one, let me explain. There's another thing. In around Kaduna, whatever, there was decrease in cost of maize. I know some people will try to use that propaganda, but what happened? There's a company there that they normally supply maize to. They rejected about 150 trailer loads of maize because the prices were too high. They said they can't buy. And then the trailer load, they couldn't go back. You know what it is? And so at the end of the day, those people, owners of those goods, were forced to just sell off at losses. Those people would have made losses. Some might not even be able to do that business again and whatever. And at the end of the day, those things will spike again. It's crazy. The inconsistency is killing everyone. All efforts, Mr. Peter Obi continued by saying, all efforts of the government should be directed at supporting businesses, especially those in the manufacturing sector, to keep their businesses afloat and keep the economy growing, as the small business sector remains the most critical engine of the economic growth. We cannot afford to target high customs revenues at the expense of the survival of local businesses, employment, and reasonable cost of living. Signed, PO, that's Mr. Peter Obi. So this is it. He brought this in, and then that was on the 21st of February, right? So on the 23rd of February, which was yesterday, now the central bank brought out this circular, and he said to all authorized dealers, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the general public, foreign exchange rates for import duty assessment. Following the liberalization of the forex market on willing buyer, willing seller trading principle, the Central Bank of Nigeria has noted the concerns of importers of goods and services in the irregular changes in the import duty assessment levies applied by the Nigerian Customs Service. These developments have further built uncertainties around the pricing structure of goods and services in the economy and creating abnormal increases in the final sale of prices of items, which is largely driven by uncertainties rather than traditional market fundamentals, with implications to near-term inflation trend. And you can see even the language is almost a reflection of the language that Mr. Peter Obi had used. To this effect, the Central Bank of Nigeria wishes to advise that the Nigeria Customs Service and other related parties adopt the closing forex rate on the date of opening Form M for the importation of goods as the forex rate to be used for import duty assessment. Exactly. So this shows what Peter Obi had written in those series of tweets to say, look, you can't just say, because when they are starting, this is what they start for. It's supposed to be done. The person can't reach here and then you're changing everything. So give the person the price at that moment that they are initiating it, so that he knows, will he go ahead and buy this product? Can he import it? Can he bring it? Can he still make a profit? Not the one he finishes calculation, then he comes into Nigeria, he's getting another rate. The rate remains valid until the date of termination of the importation and clearance of goods by the importers. This would enable the Nigeria Customs Service and the importers to effectively plan appropriately and reduce the uncertainties around varying daily exchange rate in determining their revenue or cost structure respectively. Therefore, effective 26 February 2024, the closing rate on the date of opening of Form M for the importation of goods and services will be the rate that will be applied for the assessment of import duty. This supersedes the requirements of Memorandum 9J2 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Foreign Exchange Manual, Revised Edition 2018. While the CBN is mindful of the initial volatility and price distortion in the aftermath of the forex market liberalization, the bank is confident that these reforms will be in the medium term, ensure would be in the medium term. Let me take that again. Would be in the medium term, ensure stability in the market, and entrench market confidence necessary to attract investment capital for the growth and development of the Nigerian economy. This is signed by Dr. Hassan Mahmood, Director, Trade and Exchange Department. That's exactly what Mr. Peter Obi talked about 2 days after they're doing this. Fine, I'm ready. Whatever, what Nigeria comes first. Take your solutions from everywhere. Mr. Peter Obi is always talking about these things, always giving the solution. He's not holding ideas to himself, because he, as far as the concern is what works for Nigeria. Mr. Peter Obi has constantly said that if Nigeria is working, he doesn't need to be president. All that's needed is for Nigeria to work, and he will give it all. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Bye bye.